My name is Kevin Devoted. I'm one of the mechanics here at KD Equipment Sales out of Chelsea, Michigan, and this is my toolbox tour. So to start out, on the top of my bench, I got a monitor with a keyboard. We do all of our notes and stuff are computerized. I got my 2 impacts, a 3/4, a 1/2 inch, and then a couple chargers, a couple miscellaneous lights, and then we use the rapid radios around the shop to communicate with all of us. In the first drawer, I got all my sockets, a few ratchets, the snap-on adjustable wrenches, and extensions. Second drawer going down, these are more ratchets. I don't use these ones every day, but just have them. Some transmission snap ring tools, some punches and drum brake tools. And on the left side, I got all my blow guns and air tools. I really like these Cornwall ones. They got the removable tips that go on and off, and they lock on there pretty good. So, next one down, I got all my fluids. This is just kind of like a miscellaneous drawer. Transmission assembly lube, motorcraft sealant, Loctite, just stuff like that. Going down one more, I have my impacts. Run a lot of snap-on in Milwaukee. I love this 3/8 gun. That's one of my favorites. And then over here, I got screwdrivers. I got the long ones, the normal size, a couple pry bars, a seal puller, and then just some picks, some spoon picks, and some small little screwdrivers for doing intricate stuff. Down one more is my diagnostic drawer. We got a computer, and then these are plugs I can plug into just about any forklift and engine out there, and then just a couple manuals and stuff like that. Went through that one. That's its gloves in there. And then I got some pullers in here, coolant tester, just some different bearing puller tools. And then I got the big 1/2 inch snap-on torque wrench and compression gauge down there. And then this box, this is actually the box I got first, and then I later found that one that matched and bought that one. This up here is just propane testing tools, a bunch of miscellaneous fittings and stuff for testing propane pressure. And then these drawers I don't use as often, but these are just miscellaneous wrenches and some different bits and stuff. Just use every once in a while. And then some more manuals and stuff like that. This drawer needs to be consolidated a little bit, but sometimes it's hard to find these manuals, so when you get them, you save them. And this drawer is also the same. Code sheets, manuals, and some seal kits. And this is my first kind of wiring drawer. I got electrical tape, zip ties, and some wiring connectors. And then underneath that, I have more wiring tools, multimeter. I just bought this new Power Probe fuse tester, which is kind of neat. It tests circuits and if they're open or closed, and if they're getting power, the amperage through the fuses and such. This is my junk drawer, just miscellaneous fittings, pens, some of our stickers, stuff like that, tape measures. Then over here I got one of my wrench drawers. This is more specialty wrenches. I got thin wrenches, some crow's feet, real stubby wrenches, and then some gear wrenches, line wrenches, just some small stuff. And then this is all Allen's and torque bits that I use. A few sets, I got the long ones. And then another wiring drawer. This is just kind of like specialty connectors and stuff like that. A lot of different plugs for forklifts that I can plug in and test power through. I even build like these special harnesses that'll plug into a vaporizer on a forklift to see if it's getting power or not. It's kind of neat things I've done throughout the years. Then this is a plier drawer. It's kind of messy right now, but just a big variety here of a lot of different things. This is one of my favorite drawers. I got my hammers in here, hammers and pry bars. And then I got a big 3/4 inch drive torque wrench that we use for like the semi tires and when we get into the big forklifts. And then coming down, miscellaneous screwdriver drawer. This is kind of the screwdrivers I started out with, and I do use them every once in a while, mainly as pry bars, but I still have them, still use them quite often. And then my wrench drawer. These are the wrenches I started out with and then upgraded to the snap-on ones later down the road. But this is also one of my favorite drawers. We get a lot of forklifts in from different dealers and stuff, and a lot of times they're missing parts and pieces. So I have this drawer that has hardware from almost every forklift, and they're all labeled from what forklift they're off of. There's a lot of fittings for vaporizers and different hydraulic fittings, and having this close and handy and easy to get to really makes my life a lot easier. A lot of different drum brake tools and springs, just miscellaneous stuff that makes projects go by a lot faster. This is my big wrench drawer. I have a lot of big wrenches in here for some of the bigger stuff we do. And then my 3/4 inch sockets. I got a couple of them out right now. We're filming this in the middle of the day, but big breaker bar, 3/4 inch, and a ratchet. Some of those are just miscellaneous sockets too that I have that get used often. And I got a couple sets down here. I got a power probe, big Allen's, fuel line disconnect tool, brake line tool. I got a seal driver. That's another brake line tool, and then a big slide hammer on the bottom. And these drawers on the left here, I got all my extensions and swivels in here. A couple torque extensions. I don't use those too often, but nice to have. And then this is kind of another miscellaneous drawer. I got like bud wheel sockets. There's a chain wrench. This is a tool to change oil on a Volvo loader. Just some files, stuff like that. Some oil filter changing tools. Just different miscellaneous tools. And then I got another drawer with picks and punches in it. These are kind of ones I don't care about as much that kind of get more beat up. And then down here I got snap ring pliers. These are the snap-on coolant pinchers. And then the oil filter wrenches, some stubby drill bits, custom tool we actually made one time back when we first were starting out. So that's everything in the box. I got one more thing that's probably my favorite. There's this big pry bar over here. It sits on the side of my box, but that's about my favorite tool in the box. Definitely gets used the most. So that was my toolbox tour. Let me know what you would change down in the comments, because I know I have a lot of room for improvement. I'm still a young tech out there, and definitely is interested in hearing what you guys have to suggest. Thank you.